was standing in the doorway of what used to be my daughter's flower shop, watching her arrange roses with hands that trembled slightly. Her shoulders were hunched forward like she was trying to make herself smaller, and there were dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide. Behind the counter, a woman I'd never met before was sitting in my daughter's Ava, feet propped up on the desk, scrolling through her phone while barking orders. Amelia, these hydrangeas need to be in water now. And where's my iced coffee? I asked for it 30 minutes ago. My daughter, my bright, creative, once confident Amelia, practically jumped at the sound of her name. She was 41 years old and she was jumping like a scared teenager. Coming. Mrs. Patterson, I just need to finish this arrangement for the Blossom wedding. The Blossoms can wait. My coffee can't. I felt something cold settle in my chest. This wasn't right. None of this was right. 6 months ago, I'd bought this flower shop for Amelia after her divorce from that worthless husband who drained their savings and left her with nothing but debt and a broken heart. The shop had been her dream since she was a little girl, when she'd spent hours in our garden making bouquets from whatever was blooming. I'd used a chunk of my retirement savings to buy the property outright, put it in her name, and told her to build something beautiful, a fresh start, a place that was entirely hers. When I'd visited 3 months ago, she'd been glowing. The shop was charming: white walls, vintage brass fixtures, coolers full of fresh flowers from local farms. She'd been working on a website, planning workshops, talking about hearing a part-time assistant. She'd met someone new too, a man named Derek who worked in construction. She'd seemed happy when she talked about him. Careful but happy. He's been so supportive, Mom, she'd said. He helped me install the new shelving. He's really handy. I'd been cautiously optimistic. After everything she'd been through, she deserved someone kind, but something had happened in the 3 months since then. I'd been in Florida helping my sister recover from surgery, calling Amelia weekly. She'd sounded tired on the phone, but she'd insisted everything was fine, just busy, Mom, wedding season. You know, I decided to surprise her by coming home a week early, now standing here watching a stranger treat my daughter like hired help in her own shop. I was glad I had. Excuse me, I said, stepping fully into the shop. Can I help you? The woman on the desk, Mrs. Patterson, apparently barely glanced at me. She was maybe 50 with overly processed blonde hair and the kind of face that looked like it smiled rarely. We're not taking walk-ins today. Appointments only. She didn't even look up from her phone. I'm not a customer. I'm Amelia's mother. That got her attention. She swung her feet off the desk and stood up suddenly, all fake warmth. Oh, Mrs. Chen, Derek's told me so much about you. I'm Donna Patterson, Derek's mother. I looked past her to where Amelia had frozen at the work table, a rose stem in her hand. Her face had gone pale. Mom, she said quietly, I wasn't expecting you until next week. I finished early. I walked over and kissed her cheek. Her skin was cold. Sweetheart, what's going on here? Oh, we're just helping out. Donna jumped in before Amelia could answer. Derek and I thought you know, family should support family. Amelia's been working herself to the bone, so we moved in to help for the summer. Moved in. I looked around the shop more carefully. There was a man, Derek, I assumed, in the back room, visible through the open door. He was on the phone, laughing loudly about something. A younger woman, maybe mid-20s, was sitting in the window seat, eating takeout. getting sauce on the vintage cushions Amelia had spent weeks hunting down. That's Derek's sister. Amber, Amelia said quietly, following my gaze, and his uncle Carl is upstairs. In the apartment, the small studio above the shop where Amelia lived. Where are you? Sleeping, I asked her directly. Donna answered again. Oh, Carl has the bedroom. He's got a bad back, you know. Can't sleep on a couch. Derek and Amelia have been staying at Derek's place, something in the way she said it, and the way Amelia's eyes dropped to the table told me that wasn't quite true. Amelia, honey, can you show me the new cooler you told me about? Mom, I didn't. The one in the back, I said firmly. I'd love to see it. We walked through to the storage room and I closed the door behind us. Where are you? Actually sleeping, I asked. She was quiet for a long moment, then the couch. In Derek's apartment, but it's fine. Mom, it's only temporary. How temporary? Just until the end of summer. Carl's between jobs and Donna's apartment building is being renovated, and they all needed a place to stay, so they took yours. Derek said it was important. Family takes care of family. He said the same thing Donna had just parroted. I was starting to see a pattern. And what about the shop? Are they actually helping? Amelia's hands were shaking. Now there, Donna handles the phones and scheduling. Amber posts on social media. Carl does deliveries sometimes. And Derek, he's been taking care of the books, making sure everything's organized. Every alarm bell in my head was ringing. And you, what have you been doing? Everything else. Her voice was so small. All the arrangements, the consultations, weddings, funerals, events, the ordering, the inventory, the actual flower work. But Derek says that's what I'm good at, so it makes sense for me to focus on that while they handle the business side. The business side of the business I'd bought for her. That was in her name. Sweetheart, have you looked at the books? She hesitated. Derek says, I don't need to worry about that. He used to help his uncle run a auto body shop, so he knows what he's doing. Used to. It closed down, but that wasn't Derek's fault. I took a breath, trying to keep my voice calm. When's the last time you took a day off? I don't know, maybe 6 weeks, but we had the Rogers anniversary party and then the Johnson funeral, and in when's the last time Derek took a day off? She opened her mouth, closed it. He goes fishing on Sundays sometimes. Of course he did. I reached out and took her hands. They were rough, called in new places with several small cuts from stems and thorns. Amelia, honey, I need you to be honest with me. Are you happy? Her eyes filled with tears immediately. I'm just tired, Mom. It's wedding season, and that's not what I asked. First tear spilled over, then another. Then she was crying silently, her whole body shaking, and I pulled her into my arms like I'd done when she was little. I don't know what happened, she whispered into my shoulder. It started so slowly. Derek was so helpful at first, then his mom needed a place to stay for a few days, then his sister lost her job, then his uncle, and suddenly they were all here and I didn't know how to say no. I finished for her. She nodded against my shoulder, and now Donna makes all the decisions. Derek handles the money. Amber posts whatever she wants on our Instagram without asking me. Carl uses my car for deliveries and brings it back empty. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. And I'm so tired, Mom. I'm so tired I can barely think straight. What about Derek? Have you talked to him about this? Her face crumpled. I tried Last week I asked if maybe we could set some boundaries, just, have a conversation about division of labor or something. He said I was being ungrateful, that they'd all sacrificed so much to help me that I wouldn't have a business without them. She laughed. But it sounded broken, without them in the shop you bought me, the cold thing. In my chest turned to ice, then to fire. Wait here, I said. I walked back out. Into the shop. Donna was back in. Amelia's Ava. Derek had come in. From the back, a big guy with an easy smile that probably charmed a lot of people. Amber was still in the window, now on her phone with her feet on the cushions. Mrs. Chen, Derek said warmly, coming over with his hand extended. Great to finally meet you. Amelia's told me so much about you. I didn't shake his hand. Derek, we need to talk. You, your mother, your sister, and your uncle now. His smile faltered slightly. Is something wrong? Call them in here now. Something in my voice must have registered, because he pulled out his phone. 5 minutes later, we were all gathered in the shop. Carl had come down from upstairs, a heavy-set man in his 50s wearing a stained undershirt. The bell over the door chimed as one of Amelia's actual customers tried to enter, but Donna waved them away. We're closed, she called out. You don't have the authority to close this shop, I said. Clearly, this business doesn't belong to you. Donna's eyes narrowed. Derek and Amelia are building this together. We're family. No, Amelia owns this business. Her name is on the deed. Her name is on the business license. This is her shop. Well, technically, Derek started. Technically, nothing. I bought this property. I put it in my daughter's name. None of you have any legal claim to it whatsoever. We've been working here for 3 months, Amber protested. We've put in sweat equity. You've been eating takeout in the window and posting selfies on Instagram. I said that's not sweat equity, that's squatting. Derek's charm dropped, just a little. Mrs. Chen, I think you're misunderstanding the situation. Amelia and I are partners. What's hers is mine. Are you married? Well, no, but engaged. Not officially, but we've talked about it. Then what's hers is hers, and you've been helping yourself to what's hers for 3 months. We've been helping, Donna said, her voice rising. Amelia couldn't run this place without us. You should be thanking us for what? For answering phones, for taking her bedroom, for working her 16 hours a day while you all sit around. She's being dramatic, Derek said, but there was an edge to his voice now. Babe, come on, tell your mom she's got it wrong. All eyes turned to Amelia, who'd followed me out and was standing near the worked. She looked terrified. Tell her, Derek said again. And this time it wasn't a request. Amelia's voice shook. I've been tired, and I think maybe we need to talk about some changes. Changes. Donna's voice was shrill now. After everything we've done for you, we left our own lives to come help you. You lost your apartment, I said. Carl lost his job. Amber never had one. You needed a place to stay, and you saw an opportunity. How dare you? I held up my hand. I dare because I spent $40,000 buying this property for my daughter. I dare because she's sleeping on a couch while strangers sleep in her bed. I dare because I can see the receipts. That got Derek's attention. What receipts? The ones I'm guessing show that since you started handling the books, this shop's profits have mysteriously decreased, while the expenses have gone up. I was bluffing, but his face told me I'd hit close to the mark. I'm guessing there are charges for supplies that never arrived, marketing expenses that went straight into personal accounts, maybe even a salary you've been paying. Yourself, you can't prove, can I? I pulled out my phone because I'm going to call my lawyer right now, and we're going to pull every bank statement, every receipt, every transaction. And if I find out you've been stealing from my daughter, I'm not just kicking you out. I'm pressing charges. The room went very quiet. Derrick recovered first. All charm again. Mrs. Chen, I think we've all gotten a little heated. Why don't we sit down, talk this through like adults? I'm done talking. You have until 5:00 today to remove yourselves and all your belongings from this property. You can't do that, Amber shrieked. We have rights. You have no rights. This is private property. Your guests who have overstayed. You're welcome, if you're not gone by 5. I'm calling the police and having you removed for trespassing. Amelia, Derrick turned to her, desperation creeping into his voice. Baby, come on, tell her she can't do this to us. We're a team. Right, we're building a future together. Amelia looked at him for a long moment. I could see her wanting to fold to take the easy path to avoid the confrontation, the same way she'd folded when he'd brought his mother, when he'd brought his sister, when he'd taken her bedroom, her business, her life. But then she looked at me, and I saw something I hadn't seen in months. A spark of the girl who used to stand up to bullies on the playground, who'd argued with her high school principal about the dress code, who'd fought for her first gallery showing of her floral designs. I think you should leave, she said quietly. What? I think. Her voice grew stronger. I think my mother's right. This is my business, and I've been letting you all treat it like it's yours, but it's not, and I want you to leave. Derrick's face went red. After everything I've done for you, I saved this place. I gave up my apartment to help you. You moved into my apartment, Amelia said, and you put your uncle in my bed, and your mother my office, and your sister on my vintage cushions. You didn't give up anything. You took everything. Ungrateful. Enough. I said, you have until 5:00. Start packing. For a moment I thought Derrick might actually get violent. His hands clenched into fists, his jaw tight, but Carl put a hand on his shoulder. Come on, son, let's go. This is bullshit, Amber muttered, but she was already heading for the door. Donna was the last to move. She drew herself up, trying to look dignified. We were trying to help. You're both going to regret this. The only thing I regret, I said, is not coming back sooner. After they left, the shop was quiet except for the hum of the coolers. Amelia sank into Ava, her hands over her face. I'm so sorry, Mom. You have nothing to apologize for. I let them. I should have. You were kind. You were trusting. Those aren't character flaws, sweetheart. They just chose to take advantage of them. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid. You're tired. When's the last time you ate something that wasn't leftovers or coffee? She had to think about it. I don't know. Okay. First thing, I'm going to the deli down the street and getting us real food. Then we're going to go through the books together, and then we're going to call the locksmith and change every lock on this building. What about the orders? I have 3 weddings this weekend, and we'll handle them together. But first, food, real food. I came back 20 minutes later with sandwiches, fruit, and 2 large coffees. We ate in the window seat after I'd cleaned Amber's takeout mess. And for the first time in what was probably months, I watched my daughter actually relax. I really was so stupid, she said again, picking at her sandwich. No, you were lonely. There's a difference. She was quiet for a moment. After the divorce, I felt so broken. like I'd failed at something fundamental, and then Derek showed up. And he was nice, and he seemed interested. And I thought maybe I deserved something. Good, you do deserve something. Good, but I picked wrong again, just like with Eric, what's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you, you know. What's wrong? You have a generous heart. And you keep meeting people who see that as an opportunity instead of a gift. I took her hand, but you're going to learn. You're going to learn that the right person won't need to take over your whole life to be part of it. They won't need to move in their entire family. They won't need access to your bank account or your business or your bed. They'll just need you. She started crying again, but this time they were different tears. We spent the rest of the afternoon going through the books. It was worse than I thought. Derek had been paying himself a management salary of $2,000 a month. There were charges, too. The business account for items that had clearly never been used in the shop. Auto parts, sports equipment, expensive dinners at restaurants Amelia never went to. He'd even charged his car payment as a business vehicle expense. All told, he and his family had drained nearly $15,000 from the business in 3 months. I'm pressing charges, I said. Mom, no, it'll just drag this out. He stole from you. That's a crime, I know. But she sighed. I just want them gone. I just want to move on. I understood. Part of me wanted to fight to make Derek pay. But Amelia had been fighting for 3 months just to survive. Maybe what she needed now was peace. Okay, I said, but we're documenting everything just in case. At 4:30, Derek showed up with a U-Haul. The whole family worked in tense silence, loading boxes and furniture. When they were done, Derek came back into the shop one last time. I need to get my things from upstairs, he said, not looking at either of us. I'll go with you, I said. We walked up to the apartment. It was trashed, dishes in the sink, trash overflowing, Carl's clothes everywhere. Derek went to the bedroom and started throwing things into a duffel bag. I really did care about her, he said suddenly. That's not what caring looks like. I was helping. She needed help. She needed a partner, not a parasite. He zipped the bag violently. She'll never make it on her own. She's too soft, too easy. The business will fail without me. If it does, that's her choice to make, not yours. He pushed past me and clattered down the stairs. A few minutes later, I heard the U-Haul start up and drive away. When I came back down, Amelia was standing in the middle of the shop, just looking around like she was seeing it for the first time. It's so quiet, she said. Is that good or bad? I don't know yet. She walked over to the work table and picked up a stem of white roses. I forgot what it felt like to just make something beautiful without someone commenting on how long it's taking or whether it's cost-effective or if it'll look good on Instagram. Then make something just for you. She did. For the next hour, I watched my daughter create the most stunning arrangement I've ever seen. White roses and blue delphiniums and trailing jasmine, all woven together in a wild organic style that looked like something out of a fairy tale. That's gorgeous, I said. It's for Mrs. Blossom's wedding. She wanted traditional, but I think she'll like this better. She stepped back, tilting her head. I used to do things like this before. Derek said I needed to standardize the designs to save time. You don't need to standardize. You need to create. She smiled, really smiled. For the first time since I'd arrived, we spent the evening cleaning the apartment, changing the sheets Carl had been using, scrubbing the bathroom, taking out the trash. Then we called the locksmith and changed every lock. Then, we ordered pizza and ate it sitting on the floor of the shop surrounded by flowers. What happens now? Amelia asked. What do you want to happen? She thought about it. I want to run my business the way I dreamed it. I want to do workshops. I want to work with local farms. I want to create things that make people feel something. She paused, and I want to figure out why I keep letting people walk all over me. That's a good start. Have you thought about talking to someone, a therapist? She'd been resistant to therapy after the divorce, insisting she could handle it herself. But now she nodded slowly. Yeah. Think I need to. I'll help you find someone, and in the meantime, I'm going to stay for a few weeks, help you get back on your feet. Mom, you don't have to. I want to. Besides, I miss doing flower arrangements. Your father and I used to have the most beautiful garden. Remember, we sat there in comfortable silence, eating pizza, surrounded by the smell of roses and possibility. 3 weeks later, Amelia had hired a part-time assistant, a local college student, studying horticulture who actually loved flowers. She'd restructured her pricing, started an email newsletter, and booked her first workshop on seasonal arrangements. The shop's Instagram featured her actual work instead of Amber's selfies, and orders were coming in steadily. More importantly, she'd started seeing a therapist twice a week. She was learning about boundaries, about recognizing red flags, about why she'd been so willing to disappear into someone else's needs. My therapist says I have excessive empathy, she told me one afternoon as we worked on arrangements together. She says I feel other people's emotions so strongly that I lose track of my own. That sounds about right, but she also says it doesn't have to be a weakness. I just need to learn to protect it, to use it intentionally instead of letting it use me. That's wise. I'm trying. It's hard. She paused, scissors in hand. Derek texted me yesterday. My hands stilled. What did he say? That he misses me, that he knows he made mistakes, but we could work through them, that his whole family is struggling now because I kicked them out and I blocked his number. She looked up at me, and there was steel in her eyes that hadn't been there before. I get to choose who has access to me. That's what my therapist says, and I choose not to give it to people who only take. I felt pride swell in my chest. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me too. She smiled. I mean, I'm still a mess. I cried for 20 minutes after I blocked him, but I did it anyway. That's all that matters. On my last night before heading back to Florida, we closed the shop early and walked down to the waterfront. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Thank you, Mom, Amelia said quietly, for coming back early, for fighting for me when I couldn't fight for myself. Always, that's what mothers do. I know, but I need to learn to fight for myself too. I can't always need rescuing. You won't. You're learning, you're growing. That's all any of us can do. She leaned her head on my shoulder and we watched the sun slip below the horizon. 6 months later, I got a package in the mail. Inside was a photo of Amelia's shop window. It had been featured in a local magazine's best small businesses issue. There was a handwritten note tucked inside. Mom's shop is thriving. I'm thriving. Started dating someone new, but taking it very slow. He doesn't even have a key yet. Thank you for giving me back my voice. I love you, crested. I put the photo on my fridge right next to the one of her, as a little girl, hands full of dandelions, grinning at the camera. My daughter was going to be just fine.